Welcome back, everyone. Eliminating food shaming and diet behavior. How do we even begin? Well, nutritionist Trish Brimhall is here to help. And there's a lot we can learn and a lot that we can maybe be conscious about what we say.
I think this time of year, when people naturally gravitate towards weight loss and things like that, diet tends to pop up on our radar in January. And I think that we need to be very careful and cautious about how we're approaching this, because we do not exist in a vacuum. We don't live, function, or eat in a vacuum. And kids listen and they pay attention.
They're always listening and more, and they're taking in more than we know. And I like how you said we can watch what we take into our mouths, but we have to watch what we say and what comes out of our mouths. So how do we change, I guess, the communication with ourselves and potentially to our kids?
I think one of the things is, a rule of thumb that I really like is, if what I say or what comes out of my mouth or how I view myself or someone else, if that was to come out of the mouth of my 5-year-old kid, would I cringe? And that sometimes is a little bit of a rule of thumb to say, it's not okay if that starts to come out of my little kid's mouth. Well, that's where they're getting it from. They're learning it from us as adults. And so we need to stop and change the way that we're looking at our bodies, the way that we're talking about our food, the sort of shaming that can come in with food and eating and weight and all that kind of things, and say, you know what? I need to be more aware. Do I make those judgments without even thinking about it?
Well, Trish, I was just asking you, there shouldn't be anything wrong with checking yourself and saying, like, how does this fit? How does this look? You're not saying there's anything wrong with that.
No, I'm not saying never look in a mirror, but I am saying your kids are gonna watch and look to say, you know what? Mom is always complaining about this or that, or she's always looking and, she gets really cranky when she tries on swimsuits, or whatever it is, to say, you know what, there are issues with my body, and apparently as I grow up, that's gonna be a problem. So instead, being able to make that conscious effort to be positive and neutral with ourselves, with our bodies, with other bodies, so that we avoid not just the overt phrases that may be shaming, but the more subtle looks and attitudes that we convey.
Doesn't that put you in check of what you're saying to yourself and how you're saying it?
It has to start with you internally, because like I said, it's not just to say, oh, well, I'm not gonna say this around my kid. It's, they pick up on your internal vibes and the way that you feel about yourself.
The energy.
They really do. And so to be able to say, I'm gonna make a conscious effort. This is not something that is going to come easily or naturally. You can't just say, well, if I just try to avoid this, I will naturally have this wonderful body self-confidence and feel wonderful about food and eating. We actually have to make an intentional effort in today's society to be positive and to be very conscious about what we do.
And Trish, can you give an example? Say, okay, there's food and I'm used to saying, oh my gosh, I'm gonna gain 5 pounds, right? What's a neutral way of maybe changing that verbiage?
Instead say, you know what, this is so delicious, I am really gonna enjoy this experience. Or, for example, if people are saying, moving away from good versus bad foods, or healthy versus unhealthy foods. Instead saying, you know what, this one is really nourishing, this is really helpful, and this one is just really fun. This is a fun, once in a while, delicious food that I'm gonna enjoy. Instead, taking that sort of ethical, moral judgment out of the equation, because that relationship with food is one of the longest of your lives.
Yeah.
Starts before you're born and it goes till you die.
And we need it, and we need it.
It's so huge.
I think we could talk about this for many more minutes. Thank you so much. Having your expertise really is helpful.
You bet.
Eating healthier and talking healthier with our own selves and bodies. We can find you on the web and also on Instagram and Facebook. So thank you so much. Trish is back. All right, let's head over.